Hello, Sun in Taurus, Sun in Sagittarius. This is an interesting relationship because this is another one of those in conjunct relationships where you have two energies that are on very different sides of the zodiacal wheel. So they're from different seasons, and in this case, well, really in any inconjunct case, they're going to have very different elements as well. So whereas water and earth are sextile each other, air and fire are sextile each other, they're very similar to each other, and they work together really kind of obviously. They both have we all have gifts, of course, to offer relationships as well as our challenges. And for sexual relationships, for example, it's kind of oh, this is the gift I'm offering. Oh, what you offer goes together really kind of naturally. This is interesting. Okay, I have to work to understand where you're coming from, but this is obviously beneficial for both of us. And there are all sorts of other types of relationships. Well, with this kind of relationship, you have again both individuals bringing their gifts, saying this is what I have to offer, and the other energy goes, I'm interested, I'm intrigued. What you're offering is very different than what I'm used to. But long term wise, is this what I need or not? I don't know. I have to kind of explore this. And of course, what it comes down to, like with every sun sign relationship, is the other factors. Where's the rising energy? Where's the moon energy? Where's the Mercury? Where's the Venus? And how is this all playing into that individual and into that relationship? So, as always, of course, I'm happy to offer a free perspective with my YouTube videos, but I really recommend to get the nitty gritty details of this relationship to come get a personal reading. And the information for that is in the About section for this video. So, just looking at the sun sign, though, these energies again are very different. Now, something that is in favor of this relationship, and especially really any kind of in conjunct relationships, is these energies are right next to the partner energy for each other. So what this means is basically the zodiacal wheel, the 12 different energies, are all divided up into 6 pairs of partner energies that are more similar than not. And so Scorpio and Taurus go with each other, and Gemini and Sagittarius go with each other. Now, it's important to keep in mind that partner energies aren't everything. It's usually really good for a relationship, especially an in conjunct relationship like this one, to have some partner energy in there. So if the Sag has Scorpio, Mercury, Scorpio, Venus, Scorpio, Jupiter, somewhere in there, especially Jupiter, because Jupiter rules Sagittarius, so that Jupiter and Scorpio will play a really powerful role in that person's life. Um, and if the Taurus has a lot of Gemini, again, Mercury, especially Venus, because again, Venus is the ruler for Taurus energy, so that Gemini energy plays a strong role in that person's life. And actually, I have a really good friend of mine who is a Taurus with a Sagittarius. He's got Venus in Gemini, and she has Jupiter in Scorpio. So there's a perfect example of how the partner energies can be there in ways that don't seem to be spectacularly strong. They don't have Moon in Gemini and rising Scorpio or anything like that, but how they play, the role they play in each of their charts as individuals is really profound. And so as a partnership, it works out really nicely. So having those partner energies are really helpful because it provides a little bit more of an immediacy and a little bit more of a natural chemistry than the inconjunct energies. And again, seen just from the sun sign energies, inconjunct energies like Taurus and Sagittarius, they are deeply intriguing to each other, and we'll get into the positives and the challenges in that in a second. But for it to last long term, it's really important to have that partner energy somewhere in there to naturally have that understanding of each other. So the Taurus is open for adventures, is open to changing their mind and learning and meeting new people and exciting the Sagittarius just naturally by their natural form of being. And the Sagittarius is a little bit more deep emotionally. And again, we're talking about with the partner energies here. So that Taurus has a lot of Gemini, and that Sagittarius with a lot of Scorpio. And it's helpful when both individuals have these partner placements or partner energies, but even just one of them, that's still a really strong link. And then again, we'll have to look at other parts of the chart for trine energies. If the Sagittarius has a lot of other Earth energy, like Virgo or Capricorn, and or if the Taurus has a lot of fire energy, Aries or Leo, then that can be a really strong connection. Or even the same energy, say a Sagittarius woman with Moon in Taurus, and then a man with Sun in Taurus, that can be a really strong link. But again, whether it's going to last and A quick note on this. Every relationship could last. It's just a question of, do the cons outweigh the pros? Ultimately, in every relationship, there's going to be some kind of compromise. There's going to be something that you have to sacrifice, something you have to give up for the relationship. And when we find somebody with whom we can mutually sacrifice things that we don't feel are absolutely essential, or that ultimately the pros outweigh the cons, it's like, okay, I don't have as much time to, in this case, for example, the Sagittarius might get a little bit bogged down by how clingy the Taurus can be, because Taurus love is very earthy, it's very affectionate, it likes to hold and snuggle and nestle, and that's lovely, and that's something that the that any energy would really love. But as after a little while, the Sag's like, okay, I want to go run, I want to go explore, I want to go see the world. And there's plenty of examples on the other side of things too, where the Taurus has to go, is this worth it? Is this work for me? With the Sagittarius, it's really important to look at the pros and cons and judge from there, because both of these energies, the Sagittarius, I mean, for different reasons, but they both can tend to be a little bit slow to recognize if it's working or not, because the Sagittarius is so optimistic and looks at the positive sides, and the Taurus is reticent to change. They like things to stay familiar and comfortable, even if they're not quite happy. It's very difficult to change that. So that's something that's really good for both of these energies to keep in mind. Those partner energies, yeah, as I was saying, so the Sagittarius with a lot of Scorpio is going to be a lot more deep and emotionally reliable and loyal. I kind of combine two ideas there: reliable, emotionally available, emotionally searching. They're more steady than the average Sagittarian without that Scorpio energy, or without other water and earth. But specifically speaking to the partner energies, that Sagittarius is going to be, this is kind of one of the key things between these two energies. And goes for romantically, this goes for business partners, this goes for friends and family. If the Sagittarius can stay steady enough on one path or a couple of different paths, so we're talking, professionally, moving, stuff like that, and also, I mean, loyalty in a friendship, or reliability in a friendship or a relationship, if they can kind of slow down a little bit and not go too quickly, and I mean, according to the Taurian's taste, so again, I mean, just because two people don't necessarily work out, that doesn't mean that one or either of those people have to change who they are. That's not at all what that means. But yeah, as I was saying, if for this partnership to work out, regardless of whether it's romance or business or whatever, the Taurus has to be pretty mobile. They have to have a lot of fire, a lot of Gemini in particular, but air helps a lot to feed the flames of Sagittarius in a way that doesn't feel like it's killing. A lot of earth energy individuals, everybody loves being around fire energy until the fire starts burning things. For air energy, that's why, again, that Gemini works out really well. Or if, say the Taurus has a moon or rising Libra or Aquarius, that can help out things a lot. Air energy in a sense, likes to be burnt. Now, everybody needs, ultimately, we need moderation for all the different elements. We don't want to be experiencing mudslides and earthquakes or tsunamis or tornadoes. Ultimately, we are trying to find that nice balance. And so, Sagittarius is burning wildly. That's going to be impossible for anybody to be with. But if that Taurus can kind of feed the flames of the Sagittarius, especially with air energy, or stoke the flames with their own fire energy, although some ego challenges have to then be addressed and focused on both sides, then if that Taurus is mobile and able to change and able to grow, then okay, awesome. Then that's a really good sign for this connection, especially romantically. Because romantically, it just kind of hits, it doesn't matter what the energies are, it hits closer to the bone, it hits closer to the, it either works really, it works or it doesn't work, and it's pretty apparent. And if, on the other hand, if the Sagittarius is able to, again, so if the Taurus can go quick, and if the Sag can go deep within, That's a really good sign for this relationship. Okay, so let's go to some of the pros and the cons of what these energies bring to the relationship. So assuming that other factors in both of these individuals' energies are helping the relationship, it happens, they're dating, or they sign a business contract, or whatever it is that brings them together, and there's not an immediate turning away, because that can happen with inconjunct energies, and it's a blessing, really. Whereas other energies, things can flow really nicely, maybe they peter out or something like that. With inconjunct energies, it's pretty apparent right away. Either they're just, wow, that person's really different, but this could work, or that person's really different. I'm not even interested. I'm gonna go somewhere else. So if these two individuals find themselves meeting and it works, and again, whatever, romance or whatever, something that's really delightful is, and this works really nicely with fire and earth energy individuals in general, but specifically for the buoyancy, the fun, the flexibility of Sagittarius, the natural just adventure, and Taurus being the earth energy that appreciates that. I would say, I mean, this is a little subjective, but in a lot of ways it appreciates it the most, because Taurus, out of all the earth, I mean, it's still earth energy, but it's not quite as serious. It's the earth energy of spring in the northern hemisphere. It's the earth energy of let's see what happens. All the spring energies are like that. And and regardless of, even if you're seeing this from the southern hemisphere perspective, it seems like there's something just naturally. I think it's the start of the zodiacal wheel of Aries in the spring in the northern hemisphere, but just around the planet, that region of space known as Aries in our solar system. Just it's a new start, and Taurus is right behind that. And so it goes Aries, Taurus, Gemini, etc., and then all the way back to Pisces, and then back to Aries. It starts again. So Taurus is the earth energy that is more open to possibilities. Now, are they always? Not necessarily, because they are fixed energy, so they can get a little bit stubborn, actually a lot stubborn, and that can be really frustrating for the Sag. And that's, again, a big, that could kill this really easily earlier on. And again, so be it. If that's what it happens, that's what happens. At least it's not drawn out and painful and like, is this good? Is this bad? Is working? Is not working? It can be a little bit challenging. That is one of the challenges of, say things are functioning in this relationship, and because both of these energies, as I was saying before, can be a little bit reticent to let go of something, because if there are good things involved with it, that is one of the things that is going to be crucial that the Taurus has to learn to be able to contribute their best to this relationship, for in this relationship to survive and to thrive into the future. In conjunct, let me elaborate. The stubbornness aspect, not being so caught up in, no, I'm not going to do that, I'm never going to do that. Now, there are certain times where the Taurus's values, Venus is the ruler of Taurus, and you can see in Libra, the other energy that's ruled by Venus, the staunch social warrior. Well, values are important to both of these Venusian energies. Taurus is just a little bit more internal. They don't necessarily tell other people what they feel, but they feel really strongly when something is right or for them and something is wrong for them. Or for other people, if the Sag is burning wildly and just out of control and damaging other people's nights, or damaging something in a more concrete sense, their property or something, the Taurus is going to be mortified. And just, if they're a higher order Taurus, if they understand themselves and they're mature and they're wiser than just a very limited manifestation of this energy, they're going to be mortified and go, oh, I don't need that. That's, going back to the challenges that need to be worked through, and we'll get into a lot more of the pros as well, because there's a lot of really beautiful things about this relationship we haven't quite gone into. But this is a challenging relationship, and so facing the challenges first can be really helpful in making sure the good blossoms. Inconjunct relationships are like blind spots. Opposite energies. Again, Taurus, Gemini, Sag, Scorpio. Oh, what? No, Taurus, Scorpio, Sag, Gemini. They're more similar than not. Opposite. I like to think of it as partner signs. That's how I dub it. because they're more similar than not. Mutable, what are the two, out of all the 12 energies, what are the two mutable positive energies? Gemini and Sagittarius. The two fixed, negative energies. And that's a whole other topic. Negative is not a bad thing. Scorpio, Taurus, etc. Negative just focuses on what's not there. It's a little bit more cautious, more realistic, why not? So inconjunct energies are the energies right next to the partner sign. So again, it's kind of a blind spot. The Taurus, and that's one of the beauties of it actually, is the Sagittarius represents that side of Taurus that needs to be developed, of being more adventurous, not getting stuck in one's ways, not getting too caught up in the familiar and comfort. Yes, naturally, Taurus loves comfort and loves fine food and loves beautiful, snug fitting clothes and loves being able to rely on their partner to give them good loving all day and night and to receive their loving, because to give and receive love is a really big important thing for all of us, but especially for Taurians. It's a huge part of their life. And they can get caught up in that and again, on the other side of things, Sagittarius needs to learn that. Sagittarius needs to learn to be a little bit more comfortable with the simple things in life. Simple is not lesser. It's not more basic. I mean, it is more basic, but in a good sense. It's just what do you need? Sag is so focused on what do I want. Well, frequently it tends to go that way. There are plenty of mature, beautifully wise Sagittarians who understand far past the realm of the material trappings, but that energy still is more like, this is what I can't wait for the next thing, and then thing after that, and it's like whoa. That's where that Taurus, especially that Taurus touch, but that Taurus love in general can go, okay, that mindset can go, okay, let's calm down. Even if they have a lot of Gemini, so they have a lot of that excitable energy themselves, that Taurus still is a Taurus, and they're gonna go, okay, let's breathe, let's get back in our bodies, let's feel, let's make love, let's not just have sex, let's eat dinner, let's not just get food in our stomachs so we can go run off and do something else. And let's really let's cook the dinner, let's enjoy it, let's slow down. Because Taurus energy, I love the wisdom of Taurus, of how it understands that, much like the other earth energy, but it has its own particular perspective on this, that the simple things in life, the little moments, that really is where the magic of life happens. In so many ways. Again, the magic of life it depends on what energy you're asking and at what time. There's all sorts of different magic. But one of the key things that all energies need to learn, and especially Sagittarius energy, fire in general, but especially Sag, is to learn to enjoy what is already, to enjoy the promise of right here, right now, rather the delivered promise that came from the past. Taurus energy is very, again, it's an earth energy. It's very rooted, and it's focused on what can be felt, smelt, tasted, seen, heard with the senses right here, right now. That's very valuable for Sagittarius energy. Now again, and as I was saying before, these are inconjunct energies, so this is kind of a blind spot that both of these individuals have to learn, and it's not really comfortable learning blind spot energies. For example, I'm a Gemini. I have Capricorn is my inconjunct Sun energy. I love Capricorns. They also frustrate the hell out of me because they show me where my ideas are incomplete. I'm focused on ideas all the time and talking about them and listening to other people's ideas and making sense of the world and concepts, and and Capricorn helps slow me down, and that's good. Getting that earth to air or fire energy is really nice. It's really calming, but it's unpleasant sometimes because I know they're right and that there are certain truths I don't want to face, and so. But it's still good. That just because we close off a blind spot, that doesn't mean it goes away, and it gets worse. And then time goes on, and then we find that we have to make changes, or that without that blind spot paid attention to, we didn't grow more completely and holistically that we should have to be able to reach our fullest potential. We have to face all of the lessons of the different energies, the different sun, moon, rising, exactly all of them. There's no such thing as an energy that can't teach us. It doesn't matter what our sun sign is. It doesn't matter whatever the energy is. But that doesn't mean it's fun. That doesn't mean it's enjoyable. It doesn't mean that it's not sometimes a little bit humiliating or humbling. Humbling is a better way to look at it. It's not about our ego being humiliated. We're all learning. We're all stumbling. We all have so much infinite amounts to learn from those around us, from nature, from the universe. So it takes a Taurus and a Sagittarius who are very mature, who are pretty wise, and who understand themselves, that what they need, what they want, the difference between needs and wants, and also to be tolerant of others and to understand that it's not up to them to change their partner. And who would really want to change their partner anyways if it's the right person? They're challenging you in the right ways, um, helping you to grow with love and encouragement and support, and just giving you goodness and receiving your goodness. And it's all, relationships aren't supposed to be hunky-dory all the time. It's not supposed to be all just lovely with no conflict or no sense of, oh, I never even thought of that, wow, huh. It's good to challenge ourselves in that way. But again, do the cons outweigh the pros? Just because it's good to surround yourself with people that are in conjunct energies, does that mean you have to be with them romantically? Again, it depends on the specifics of your chart. So let's get back into some more of the specifics with these two different energies. On the other side of things, Sagittarius has that beautiful offering to Taurus of busting out of the mold, busting out of the shell. Yes, Taurus has built this beautiful garden in the forest, and it's lovely, but sometimes you need to get past your environs. You have to go explore the world, for maybe practical reasons, maybe as happens in nature, maybe that environs is decaying overall, and you need to go move somewhere else. Or more likely, it's just important to explore. It's important to shake it up and see what else is out there. Now that can be very frightening for Taurus, but that's something that's really beautiful about this relationship is, even though these two energies can present perspectives, information, experiences that the other has a blind spot to, and again, there can be some unpleasantness there. These individuals, especially if they're committed as a team and other energies are working to help this bond, they can be each other's guides with that blind spot. They can help each other out tremendously in being able to focus on what the other isn't quite good at or quite naturally predisposed to. And so the Sag will go, look, Taurus partner, it's, business partner, romantic partner, whatever, friend, family, it's time to bust out of the shell. Let's go here. I know it here. I'm familiar with the culture. I speak the language, as Sag often does. And Taurus with Mercury, Gemini, Venus, and Gemini would be very happy with that too. But even without those energies, yes, it will be an adventure. Yes, it will be exploring out of your comfort zone. Yes, I don't know exactly what we're going to do there. And I know that's a little bit scary, but it's also exciting, and feel that springtime energy, that essence within you that also just is eager to see what happens. See the exploration, my dear Taurus friend. See the exploration as planting seeds for future blossoms, beautiful exotic flowers you never would have got in your forest home, and being able to know that there are infinite amount of other seeds to go find and plant in the future. Now again, does this mean you need to be exploring all the time? No. You do you. But when the Sag is saying, let's go on an adventure, whether it's international or just local, going to a different grocery store, or going to a different part of town, or checking something out that you're not familiar with, some kind of dance style or something like that, they can follow that lead. If it doesn't egregiously offend your values, and if it doesn't scare the hell out of you to the point where it's like, that doesn't seem like it's right for me, if there's a bit of, that's okay. That's okay. We all have that. Even the most confident, cocksure signs are go, the question is, what do we do with that? And Sag can be a wonderful guide of just, hey, let's face it. Like, I don't know. That's part of the joy. That's part of, the adrenaline thrill. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work out. But it's not a bad situation. One way or another, it's going to work out. It's going to be fine. That's really important to. And on the other side of things, as I was saying, The Taurus can be the Sag's guide. And hey, have you ever tried this food before? Are you making sure that you're practical and getting your nutrients? Are you making sure that you're eating right? Are you making sure that you're exercising regularly? Because Sag is one of those energies, just like his partner energy Gemini, that we can be so quick in doing all this different stuff that we don't cover some of the basics. And long term wise, the long term perspective is what Earth energy is excellent at. Um, Arguably air is too, but that's from a more mental perspective. I mean living in the long term, doing daily routines, monthly routines, yearly routines, decades routines, to make sure that everything, the garden continues to grow. It takes work every day to make sure there's no weeds and everything's watered and it's protected, and you have to have that kind of focus. And a lot of fire energy individuals, especially Sagittarius, the fastest fire energy of them all in so many different ways, the most scattered of them all in so many different ways. And that's part of their charm. It's a beautiful thing. But it can be challenging for them to reconcile the earth realm. It can, I don't want to focus on whether I'm eating right. That's boring. Meanwhile, Taurus can see and have the wisdom. And if the Sag is open enough and wise themselves and humble enough themselves, they can gain this Taurian beautiful perspective of, I hear you. I know it's not the most exciting, but if you don't eat right, if you don't sleep right, if you don't take care of your bills and expenses, if you don't, focus on the stuff that's a little bit more boring, you're not going to be able to adventure as long or have as much fun or have as much freedom in the long term. Taurus can be really helpful in getting Sag to enjoy taking things a little bit slower. Now, will they ever be as patient and take it as slow as the Taurus? No, and that's okay. We're not trying to make our partner into ourselves. That's impossible and also deeply unhealthy for a lot of different reasons. We are seeking what's best for them in a sense. We can't control them, but we have to offer our perspectives. And any relationship that doesn't allow these perspectives to be aired out, it's not going to last for a lot of different reasons. So both of these energies bring so much to each other's lives. Sag can brighten up Taurus. It can make the Taurus laugh and not take things so seriously, not worry so much, because Earth energy individuals do tend to worry a lot. And on the other side of things, Taurus can allow Sagittarius to be able to focus a little bit better and to take care of the serious things that then allow you to truly laugh without having anything in the back of your mind going, yeah, but I'm having fun, but I haven't taken care of my necessities. I'm drinking alcohol and that's enjoyable, but did I get enough protein a day? They can help each other to last longer. They can help each other to enjoy everything that life has to offer. But again, it takes communication. Like every relationship takes communication. And it takes patience on both of these individual ends. And it takes a genuine understanding of trying to understand the other person. And again, that can be really challenging. The Sag energy individual might find themselves jumping in and out of their relationship or kind of wandering. And if they don't necessarily take breaks, they might just spend a lot more time with friends or exploring a new interest and exploring what all the ideas and wisdom and meaning that situation, that group of individuals has to offer that the Taurus has no interest in. That can freak the Taurus the fuck out. Because again, there's that sense of reliability is, are they coming back? Do I need to try and find somebody else? And that's something that's good to keep in mind, because Taurus can get super clingy. And we look at Scorpio as the partner energy and we can see that as well. There's no need to fear being alone. It's important for the Taurus to understand that and to accept that. Because being alone, we can find out so much about ourselves that we can't really find out in relationships at all. And we can find out certain things about ourselves, of course, in relationships, but there are certain other things that we are not able to, like our independence. Am I able to stand on my own 2 feet? Well, if you're with a partner who's constantly helping you with bills and whatnot, well, you don't know. Ultimately, we all have that capacity, but you don't know until you're there. Do you enjoy your own company? You don't know until you're there. Do I even know how I am on the inside? You don't know until you're there. So that's important for this relationship. For the Taurus in general, but especially for this relationship. Because if the Taurus is too fearful, they'll get clingy. That's their first, no, don't go. And that's a chain reaction of fear where the Sag goes, I need freedom. It doesn't matter how deeply in love the Sag is with the Taurus, how everything else flows nicely, and they are truly, the pros outweigh the cons in so many beautiful ways, and they both have they're both have the same interests and the same life path and the same sense of values, and they respect each other and they care about each other. But when fear lashes out, our first instinct is to have our fear lash out, and then it's fear, 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 and then people are arguing and they're not really getting at the core issues. So the core issue for the Taurus is don't be afraid of being alone. If the Sag energy individual finds himself drifting off into different interests, as they will, don't take that as a for sure sign, oh, it's not going to work out. You don't know that, okay? You don't know that. Now, of course, you do have to ask yourself on either side of this, pros outweigh the cons, but don't try and answer that in a moment or even a night or even a season, because the Sag is eventually going to burn out on that particular interest and they'll go into another one, most likely. And if not, then they'll continue to explore that interest, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's the end of the relationship. That's just they're into something that you're not into, and that's okay because you all have other interests that you're aligned with. That is something that's important to keep in mind, is having something that you both really care about, um, and something that can continue to grow between you can be really helpful. Something that comes to mind of specifically what, and there might be a couple of different uh, links, but both of these individuals really like wisdom, and it can be a little bit surprising. Again, just looking at the sun sign here is difficult because if we have Mercury, particular Mercury or Jupiter energies, that can, or Venus, that can be a lot better indicator of what those interests, those shared interests might be. But let me just speak generally. Um, the interest in common between these two individuals that are likely is something that is going to involve the body, something that'll be fun. Dancing is a huge one, a huge one. And so if you're looking for a way to unite these two individuals, dance. And again, even if this is business partners, go to a social dance club on your weekend off or while you're traveling throughout the world, and have fun. That can be a beautiful way for the Taurus to be at home wherever the Sag's adventures might lead them, is to have some allied interest that they can do around the world with that partner in any city. Or even if they're just located in one place, to continue to grow with that interest with their partner. That's a beautiful one. Sports too, that'd be a great one. Physical fitness in general, that'd be great. Both go to the gym. They're kind of there for different machines, different reasons, but still that overarching reason of just being healthy and having fun and getting the blood flowing and enjoying the endorphins, that can be a really strong link. Doing yoga, it seems to be, that makes sense because the fire and earth energies tend to be more about action, more about doing things. So any allied interest where you both are able to do something and you both get a huge kick out of it, that's just a nice basic joy. That's a great connection. So I wanted to cover one other thing. We already talked about the challenge that Taurus is really important for them to work through. The Sagittarius needs to work through their fear of being tied down, their fear of, just because their Taurus is loving on them and holding them for a little bit longer than they would naturally hold a hug, that doesn't mean that they need to run away. Again, pros outweigh the cons. It's up to you to decide if overall is this working for me or is this not working as a relationship. But don't let the fears of an instant, doesn't matter who you are, what your energy are, this is true for all of us. Don't let your fears of an instant ruin something that long term is magical. So the Sagittarius has got to make sure that they kind of chill with the urge to run away and to scatter and to Again, if there are other energies at play, like a Scorpio, then this will be a lot more subdued, a more calm. But it's still good for the Sagittarius to consciously recognize, okay, you have grass is always greener syndrome. I know, I'm a Gemini. We're partner energies. I have it too. I have to constantly go, wait, hold on, when it comes to a new thing, because I'm automatically going, yeah. For example, I just got a banjo and a ukulele and harmonicas and slide for my slide guitar. And I'm going to do all of that. And I'll be excited for it. But I got to focus on the other instruments and make sure that I get my bass technique to the next level, the drum technique to the next level, the keyboard. It's that's actually brings up another thing. A common interest between Taurus and Sagittarius is a love of certain kind of art. It could be most likely music, most likely kind of an EDM type music, or something that you can dance to, something that allows for crowd participation. That's going to be really beautiful. It could also, it could be classical or something like that. In that case, it's more probable that the Taurus loves listening to it and the Sagittarius loves doing it, but it can manifest in so many different ways. But in any case, yes, going back to grass is always greener and staying focused, those challenges for Sagittarians and Geminis. Don't assume the grass is always greener. Now, again, pros outweigh the cons, up to you to figure out. It doesn't matter who a person is, we don't want to get stuck in a settled relationship in the sense of we're settling for somebody. And it's not really, Sag energy in general doesn't really do that. But it's always good to just keep these things in mind. So if ever you find a friend who's getting caught up in a relationship they're settling for, just to go, hey, again, there's nothing wrong with being alone, and being alone actually gives you wonderful opportunities to meet somebody where you really feel like your soul is on fire in the best possible, beautiful way. But it's important also to appreciate what you have, to not get too caught up in the addiction of the future, of what could be. Sometimes what is and what will be, not that we can know for sure where things are going to be in the future, but something that's reliable, somebody that's reliable and that you can really depend on, sometimes that is infinitely better than what could be or who could be. And that's such a beautiful magic that you have to take that into account and appreciate. Because not everybody has that kind of partner, that kind of love. And that's exactly what Taurus offers. At its best, at its most matured and lovely manifested. Okay. I think that's pretty much everything. Cool. Infinite love to you, my friend. Namaste. Teach each other and be good students too. Absorb, give and take is essential in any relationship.